So if you're looking to form an LLC and get your EIN without paying a bunch of service fees, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that because it is totally possible. And honestly, it's not as complicated as people make it out to be. Now, I've done this a couple of times myself, once completely on my own, and then later I ended up using Zen Business. And I'm going to share both experiences with you because depending on where you're at and what you need, one might make more sense than the other. But either way, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what steps you need to take, what to watch out for, and how to avoid some of the mistakes I personally made along the way.
A quick heads up, I have put affiliate links in the description for everything we're covering. If you use them, I do earn a commission at no extra cost to you, which helps support the channel.
All right, so real quick, if you're not totally sure what an LLC even is, it stands for Limited Liability Company. And the whole point is, as the name would suggest, to separate your business from you personally. Like, if your business gets sued or racks up debt or something goes terribly wrong, your house, your car, your personal bank account, any of that stuff, your personal assets are protected. It's also way more flexible than a corporation when it comes to taxes. You can choose how you want to be taxed as a sole proprietor, as a partnership, even an S-corp if that makes the most sense for you. So you get all the legal protection of a corporation without all the rigid structure and paperwork that comes with it. Now, an EIN is your employer identification number. It's basically like a social security number the IRS will give your business. You'll need it to open a business bank account, file taxes, hire employees, all that kind of stuff. And the good news is it is completely free to get directly from the IRS. So all that together, these days, most small businesses, freelancers, and even people running side hustles do end up going with an LLC and getting an EIN because you get the protection and flexibility, the tax ID you need to actually operate as a functional business, and it's not a nightmare to set up. All right, now let's see how we can get both totally for free. Well, not totally, but we'll get into that, okay? So the first thing you'll need to do is pick a name. It's got to be unique to your state, so no one else can already have it, and you need to include either LLC or Limited Liability Company somewhere in there. You can check if a name's available for free on your state's website. Just search for your state plus business entity search, and you'll find it. Or honestly, just Google the name. And while you're at it, I'd also check if the domain is available, because it would really suck if you pick a business name but the website's already taken. You'll probably end up having to file a DBA later on. It's just extra paperwork. So next up, you'll need a registered agent. So this is the person or company who will receive legal documents and official mail for your business during business hours. Now, you absolutely can be your own registered agent. I was for my first LLC. You just put your name and address on the form when you file. Only thing to keep in mind is that that address then becomes public record, so anyone can look it up. I got so much more junk mail in my old house once it went live, so just be aware of that. And if you move or you're not around during the day, you will need to make sure someone's there to receive any legal stuff, because missing that can cause serious problems down the line. All right, now next up, you're going to actually need to form the business, and for that, you'll need articles of organization. Now, technically, every state calls it something slightly different, but it's basically the same thing, and you can fill it out online through your state's website. They'll ask for your business name, your registered agent's info, what address the business is located at, and whether your LLC is member managed or manager managed. And by the way, that is way less complex than it sounds. Member managed just means that you, the owner, run the business yourself. Manager managed means that you appoint someone else to handle day-to-day operations. Basically, if you're running solo here or you got like a partner or two, you'll almost always go with member managed. Manager managed is more if you got investors who own the LLC, but they're not actually involved in it, or if you're setting up something like hardcore. Okay, now here is where that stipulation about free that I mentioned earlier comes in. Because even if you're doing everything yourself by hand, there's still filing fees. How much will vary by state. At Georgia, where I've gone through all this, is $105, but something like California might be closer to $70. Some states are higher, some are lower, but that fee is mandatory no matter what. Even if you use a service, it'll usually get processed in around 2 to 3 weeks. Now, once your LLC is approved by the state, then you can apply for your EIN, and that's all done on the IRS's website. Now, their system is a little, let's say, old school. You got to complete it all in one session. There's no save button, and if you're inactive for 15 minutes, it'll time you out. So just set aside 20 minutes, have all your info ready, and knock it out in one go. It's available most hours during weekdays, but it's not 24/7. Once you hit submit, you'll get your EIN immediately. Just make sure to wait until your state has actually approved your LLC before applying. I made the mistake of doing it too early once. I had to get it corrected. It was this whole annoying process. Don't do that. You'll also want an operating agreement. Now, most states don't legally require it, but it's basically the rule book for your LLC. It says who owns what percentage, how decisions get made, what happens if someone wants to leave, what happens if you want to close the whole company. If you're the only person, it might seem pointless, but it really does actually help protect you legally, because without one, if you ever end up in court, a judge could just decide that your LLC isn't really a separate entity from you personally. So yeah, it's worth having. You can find templates online for free, or you can pay someone to draft one up. That one's up to you. Last thing, we got to talk about compliance. Now, every state has different requirements. Some want an annual report, some biennial. The report is usually pretty simple, basically just confirming that your business info is still current, but you do have to file it on time. Miss that deadline and it'll get hit with late fees, anywhere from $50 up to a few hundred, depending on the state. And if you ignore it for too long, the state can actually dissolve your LLC, which means you lose your legal protections. Some states will send you a reminder email, some won't. So you just got to put it on your calendar and stay on top of it. Also, some states have annual fees on top of the report. Like California, it had a $70 initial fee, but there's an $800 franchise tax every year. Delaware charges $300 annually, and that is all whether you made $1 million or operating in the red. Other states like Ohio and Texas don't have recurring fees at all. So it really just depends on where you form. But yeah, that is the whole process. It is definitely doable on your own if you're comfortable handling the paperwork and keeping track of the deadlines. I did that all for my first business, but I did end up switching to Zen Business for my second. And you might rightly be wondering, why would I pay for someone to do something that I could do for free? Well, Zen Business is what's called a business formation service, and they're basically a company that handles all the paperwork and filing for you. Instead of you going to your state's website, filling out forms, tracking deadlines, making sure everything's submitted correctly, they do all of that. You give them your business info, they file everything with the state. And the obvious benefit is that they know the process. They've done it thousands of times. So you're not going to mess up a form or apply for your EIN too early or forget about an annual report. They handle it. For a lot of people, especially if you're already busy trying to, actually start your business, that peace of mind is absolutely worth it. Some services will charge a couple $100 on top of the state fees. Others, like Zen Business, have a free tier. And that costs the same as doing it yourself, it's just a lot less effort. So it really just depends on what do you need and how much time do you want to spend on the paperwork. Like with Zen Business, you just go to their website and answer a few questions about your business. What state you're forming in, what you want to name your LLC, who the owners are, basic stuff like that. They'll walk you through the whole thing step by step, so you're not just staring at a blank form wondering what to put. It takes maybe 15 minutes. Once you submit everything, they handle the filing with your state. They'll fill out the articles of organization, they submit it, and they track the approval. You get access to this dashboard where you can see the status of everything and download your documents once they're ready. So you're not sitting around wondering if it went through or if something got rejected. And then once your LLC is approved, if you're on one of the paid plans, they'll actually handle your EIN application with the IRS as well. Now, they got this feature called worry-free compliance that's included for the first year, and it sends you automated email alerts when your annual report is due. Sounds simple, I know, but that is the exact thing that would have saved me from the $50 late fee that I mentioned early on, because I just forgot. I had it on my calendar, I got busy and I missed it. With Zen Business, they remind you ahead of time. Now, I gotta say, their customer service isn't the fastest I've ever dealt with, and if you need an answer right this second, you might be waiting a little bit, but when they do respond, they actually know what they're talking about. It's kind of refreshing, honestly. Now, their starter plan is, like I said, literally $0. So you are paying the exact same amount you'd pay if you did it all yourself, it's just the state fees. If you're just starting out and you want to save money but also not deal with the filing yourself, it is definitely a solid option. Now, they do also have a couple of paid plans. The Pro plan is around $200 a year, and that is where they include your EIN application and the operating agreement. So if you don't want to mess with the IRS website yourself, or you want a professionally done operating agreement instead of trying to find a template online, that is worth considering. And they speed up the processing so your paperwork gets submitted within 1 business day instead of the standard 7 to 10. The top option is the premium plan, and that goes for about $400 a year. That is the one I went with, actually. Just biggest thing for me was the registered agent service, because instead of using my home address and having it show up on public record, they use their commercial address. I'm getting so much less junk mail, and no randos know where I live. There's also some nice features here for actually running the business, like a domain name, an AI website builder, and a business email. And after doing the whole process myself once and dealing with everything that came with that, it just made sense to let someone else handle it the second time around. Because the starter plan costs the same as doing a DIY. The pro and premium plans are a couple of $100 a year, which is nothing compared to the time and stress that it saves. But that's all for this video. If you found it helpful, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more just like this.
And don't forget, you can find the affiliate links for what we covered right below this video. If you use them, we earn a commission at no extra cost to you, which really does help support the channel.
Also, if you are a brand and you'd like to work with us or sponsor a future video, you can reach out using the email that's also in the description. Now, as always, I love hearing y'all's thoughts, so go ahead and drop any questions or comments down below. I'll try to get back to them as fast as I can. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.